everyone. Today's reading is for Leo. So Leo, if you're watching, man or woman, doesn't matter. This is a collective reading for Leo, okay? Let's jump in. And your first card out was the Ten of Swords. Okay? And what the Ten of Swords kind of talks about is disappointment. It could be the ending of a cycle or the ending of a situation. You had a plan kind of that failed for your life. You're kind of cutting through some illusions to see matters as they really are in order to move forward. So you're trying to see things as they are so you can go forward. Feeling of loss possibly here because of an ending of a difficult situation. Okay? But you are ready for a new beginning, but your plans did get ruined here. Ooh, not so great right off the start, Leo. Let's get into the clarifiers here, though, and see what's up. Okay? So your first card out is belong to your own dream, and below that it says create your own life. These are holographic cards, so if they're a little hard to see, I apologize, Leo. Your next one out was you can't go back to yesterday in reverse. And below that it says be in the present. Okay. And then for your final card out, it was lead the way, be a leader, show others how it's done, you can help others. Okay. And let's get into those clarifiers to see why you're so disappointed and why your plans have failed here, okay? Your first clarifier here talks about following a path and a plan that was not truly for you or is currently not truly for you. Oh, that's a bummer, Leo. I'm sorry. Deciding to live authentically, rebelling, staying with people or a job that is not your dream, or not being directed by the desires of others, deciding to make big changes, to find and follow your own path. So that's kind of the bullet points of the clarifier here. And tied to that disappointment card, it kind of seems like either you're ending a job or you're ending a relationship. Two cards about kind of like failed plans or the situation that you're in isn't truly for you here. So they're tied together. So it's definitely an ending of something. I feel confident in the part up here about you're ready for a new beginning though. So you must have been uncomfortable in this situation for a while there, Leo. Okay. And you're deciding to make those big changes here. But rebelling and staying with people or a job, yeah, so you're probably leaving a job or leaving a person maybe, or leaving a group, or stepping away from your family or something like that. So you're definitely having an ending here of some sort, okay? Let's go on to the next one. The next one is all about living in the past when it's in reverse. You speak of past events a lot, and you're musing over what once was. You have a lot of nostalgia here, and believing you are the same as you once were. This also talks about living through stories instead of experiences. Memory overrides the present. No anticipation of future. Oh, Leo. That's not so good. Tied with these two we already talked about and clarified, it really just seems like your past is haunting you here a little bit, Leo. That's unfortunate. But at the same time, you're just kind of living in stagnancy, you know? With these three cards together, it's more fun for you to recount the positive of the past than it is for you to live in the present. So you're not truly experiencing life here, Leo. You're just kind of dwelling on the past. That kind of stinks. So, yeah, your memory is overriding your present experiences. So you're really not even living at this point, Leo. What in the world? Are you okay? Let's keep going here. So your last clarifier on there. It's time for you to step up. You need to work through a problem or emotional situation that you have. That's what this card talks about. You need to show people how you can work through something and not tell others how to do it. Oh, okay. So you need to work through your own demons first before handing out advice. You need to lead by example. So if there's a situation in your past that's bothering you or that you're dwelling on or you're trying to live in the past with that situation, you actually need to work on yourself instead of giving advice to everybody else on how to be and whatnot. You need to work through your own demons first here, Leo. Ooh, yeah. And then you can lead by example. If you work on yourself, you can lead by example, okay? But right now, you really need to work on yourself. This whole row is kind of a sad end of something's ending and you're dwelling on the past, good or bad. Instead of living in the present, you're kind of rebelling. You're staying with a person or a job that's not for you. You're refusing to be directed by the desires of others. So you might have a little bit of stubbornness going on. Okay. Stubbornness is good in some cases, but not in all. Okay. Yeah, you're just kind of living in the past. You're unsatisfied. You're gonna have a loss here, whether it be job, relationship, friendship, something like that. And there's big changes that you want to have happen here. Okay, Leo, but you're not working on yourself. Instead, you're handing out advice to everybody else. And that's never a good thing, Leo. I just got to be honest with you. When you're giving people advice, you need to make sure that they can see it in your example. If you're giving advice that you're not following yourself, that could get you labeled a little bit of a hypocrite there. So let's try to work on ourselves instead of doling out advice to everybody else, okay? Now, moving on to your second row here, you got the Eight of Cups. And something about the art on this is important to remember. He's not looking at these cups back here, and they looked like they were once stacked nicely, but now they're in disarray. Okay. When learning about the Eight of Cups, when I was studying, it was very important to remember that piece of the art in the Eight of Cups. So you're not looking at what's behind you here, you're looking forward. What's behind you is in disarray kind of thing. So that's automatically what the art of the card tells me, but let's get into the actual meaning, the written meaning of the card. That talks about somebody abandoning their path, disillusionment, emotionally unfulfilled, feeling abandoned or abandonment, emotional investment given previously and you're walking away from it, from the current plans that you have. It no longer fulfills you. So you're abandoning your path due to disappointment here. Yep, that ties back to the first card. Due to emotional investment, found it hard to walk away in the past, but now you want to walk away and you're getting ready to walk away. It is the choice you have made and you've been aware for a long time, but kind of felt disillusioned by it. You are or you will be pursuing a new path with this card here. So yeah, it ties back to the disappointment and the ending. Those cards mirror each other very much so. So yeah, it sounds to me, since like it's an emotional bond, it's probably not a job then. It's probably an interpersonal relationship, such as a family member, friend, or a partner, a life partner here, that you are going to be walking away from because it no longer emotionally fulfills you, and you are going to be the one walking away here, okay? And it was not an easy decision for you to make because of the emotional investment, but your plan is to walk away, okay? Let's get into your clarifiers here. You got laws, not justice. Rules that are not fair is what it says below there, but it's in reverse, okay? And reverse, I don't know how much you know about the tarot, but reverse is different than upright in meaning, okay? So, and you had a reverse here too, and I did the proper reversed clarification for that. This one is manage to be glad. And below that it says create your own happiness regardless of conditions. Well, I agree with that right off the bat. Painting the roses red, covering up errors. I just got this in Scorpios yesterday too. You might be connected to a Scorpio. And again, when this card comes out, somebody's always on some BS. So we'll get into the clarifiers here and see what's up. With these clarifiers, this first one in reverse, that talks about believing the law is right under any circumstances, accepting judgment without question, allowing yourself to be influenced without knowing the story, a deep bias, ruining your ability to see things clearly, a flawed filter through which you see the world. You need to stop and think. That's what that one talks about. And so you might feel like somebody or something is getting its proper judgment, or that the whatever happens, the law is right under any circumstances, but accepting judgment without question. That kind of means like you don't think for yourself on this situation, possibly. You're just accepting the judgment of a person, place, thing, situation as exactly what it is. And unfortunately, that is not the case here. You need to know the whole story, and you need to get rid of this deep bias because it's ruining your ability to see things clearly in this situation here. Not sure what that's about, but we'll get into it as we go down the line here, but based on what it's tied to already, kind of seems like you have a little bit of an unfair bias in this situation where you are trying to face this loss here. So, you have a very flawed filter the way you see things here, Leo, and that's unfortunate. You're not seeing things clearly at all. Oh, well, let's keep going and see what the next cards have to say. Your next card talks about acknowledging that life is hard, but your happiness is in your own hands. It can be managed, nurtured, and grown. You're being asked by the universe to grow your happiness. So, yeah, your unhappiness is partly your own filter, okay? And sorry to be harsh right off the bat here, Leo, but due to the way you see things, you don't see them clearly, and so therefore you're seeing it through only your own filter. And the universe is asking you to acknowledge that life is hard for everybody, just in general. And you have to make the choice to be happy here, Leo. If you take care of it and you nurture your happiness, you can have happiness come in. But right now, the universe wants you to grow that, and you're not doing that. So you need to work on your view of things. You truly do not see things clearly. And maybe that's part of the reason you're abandoning this path. There's stuff that you need to work on inside of yourself that's kind of clear here, like your deep bias and stuff from the first clarifier, that you need to work on your filter and your bias through which you see things, Leo, unfortunately. And if you can do that, then you can grow your happiness but that growing your happiness that managed to be glad card is paired with painting the roses red. And as I said, that's not, it's a beautiful card, but it's one of my least favorite cards because it means somebody's on some BS. So let's get into the clarification of that. Working for or being in a relationship with someone who is harsh on others, who make mistakes, feeling forced to cover up errors to avoid punishment, fear of mistakes are being discovered, fear of mistakes being discovered, hiding evidence as the consequences are harsher than the mistake, feeling what you need to do to stay safe is no longer reasonable. Okay, as I said, this came out in Scorpio's reading too, and I feel like this might be you here, Leo, because in Scorpio's reading yesterday, it was actually tied to somebody else and their discontent with a situation and how they kind of felt like they had to hide their mistakes because of harsh judgment. And for you, with it tied to you having the bias here and you not seeing things clearly and the universe asking you to be happier, I think this is you here, Leo. Because when you get a meaning of a card, you have to consider the surrounding cards as well. And so in Scorpio's case, they were hiding some of their errors or mistakes due to fear of punishment, but you here with your bias and not seeing things clearly, I feel like this is you here, and that's unfortunate, Leo. But so you're in a relationship currently with someone and you're really hard on them when they make mistakes, okay? And we all make mistakes, so I'm not sure why that you're doing that, but try to have a little more gentleness with the people around you, okay, Leo? So people are covering up errors here. Possibly you are covering up some of your own errors, but people around you could be covering up their errors as well to avoid punishment. You might be fearful here of somebody discovering the mistakes that you made. You might be covering them up. And, honesty goes a long way here, Leo. Okay? So let's try to be honest and don't hide evidence of what you did, or look for the evidence of what somebody else did here. I feel like you might be covering up some of your own mistakes. However, I also feel like you're the one who's harsh on people who make mistakes. So this might be a multifaceted issue for you, Leo. So I'm not exactly sure how to expand on that, but I feel like you hide your own mistakes, and because you don't want to have any consequences for it, but you're also really, really, really hard on people that make mistakes. And so you're probably pretty hard on this partner here that I feel you might be ending a situation with. Well, let's keep going. Let's see what happens. Your next card is the Three of Wands in reverse. And what the Three of Wands in reverse talks about is restriction, limitation, lack of progress, and obstacles, delays, frustrations. Yeah, I can see that here. You've got a lot of frustration. You've got a lot of disappointment. You probably do have some delays, based on the cards that it's already tied to, okay? The in-depth detail for this card in reverse is: before committing, check your partner is all you think they are. Compromise is important, but you might be demanding your partner changes to suit you, and that's part of the problem. You need to take time to plan for a new future. Stagnation in your career is happening as well because you reject opportunities in work. Um, you may also have financial chaos, not necessarily that you are lacking money, but there are delays in achieving financial goals. You need to take stock on how much is coming in and how much is going out. Okay, so we're getting a little bit bigger picture here, as we do every time we go down the line. So there's a lack of progress and obstacles in your way, which that's what the card talks about. And so with this loss of partner here, did you maybe rush a little bit, Leo? Did you not truly get to know them before you guys moved in together or decided to make it official or something like that? Because this card specifically talks about that before committing, you need to check that your partner is all that you think they are. And the fact that you were demanding that your partner changes tells me that you probably didn't get to know them very well before you got into a more serious commitment. I don't know if there's marriage on the table here. I don't know if it's just a long-term relationship. I have no idea. Okay, we never know who we're reading to. We never know whether we're reading to a man or a woman, so I don't know for sure. But I feel tied with these cards that were already out. You probably didn't get to know your partner very well before you decided to have a deeper commitment, okay? And now you're demanding that they change, and that is part of the problem. You are trying to kind of make them into what you thought they were. And that's unfortunate to Leo, because you truly can't change somebody. Only somebody can change themselves. So keep that in mind. There's little things, that people can learn to change about themselves, right? Especially if it's something more serious. Example, my husband used to drink a fair bit more than what he does, and I was kind of letting him know that, the amount that he was drinking could possibly be causing some of the health issues he was starting to have. And he cut way back on his alcohol intake, and he cut back a little bit on his coffee, and actually, then his health improved. So it's not like requesting your partner work on something for their own benefit is a bad thing, but it's also their choice. And so you can't push somebody to change if they don't want to change. Excuse me, I need a little coffee there. Mushroom coffee is great if you haven't tried it, by the way. So yeah, unfortunately, that's what's going on here. You probably didn't get to know your partner thoroughly before you committed deeply to them, whether you're married or not, doesn't matter. You just decided, to get with them faster than you probably should have. You didn't take the time to properly get to know them, and now you want them to change, and you want everything to change around you as far as what they do or whatever the case may be, okay? And that's not going to serve you very well here, Leo, unfortunately. Also, the stagnation in career, that specifically talks about rejecting opportunities to work. So maybe there's a fight happening within the home. Maybe you are a male Leo and your partner doesn't work or works part-time and there's not enough finances to go around or something, and you might want them to change and get a job, and they're refusing to do that, or something like that. Or on the opposite end of the spectrum, you could be a woman that's out working and your man refuses to get a job, or you're a man out working and your Leo woman refuses to get a job. Whatever the case may be. I don't know, I don't know your guys' lives, but yeah, there's stagnation in career here, and it's because somebody is rejecting opportunities in work. And that may be leading to this financial chaos. You might not lack in money, like I said earlier, but you're spending, your output is greater than your input here in some cases. And that's unfortunate too, because we have to make sure that we keep our finances balanced in order to avoid that kind of chaos, right? Can't be living on credit cards, can't be taking out loans to cover things on a consistent basis. That's a bad practice to get into. Now, don't take it wrong. I truly believe that taking out a loan to do something important, like fixing your house, is totally okay. But if you're spending too much on unnecessary things, that's where you're gonna run into that financial chaos. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to your clarifiers here. So you have your first clarifier is wake up, it's your moment. Your next clarifier here is choices, feeling blocked or restrained. And your last clarifier on the Three of Wands in reverse is the right way, learning to create your desires. Okay, or what you desire, sorry. So with this first clarifier here, that's a rude awakening. And it talks about being present and fully engaged with what is happening around you. You need to start making a contribution. Yeah, with that below this, you're probably the one that's not working, Leo. And you need to start making a financial contribution to the household or something like that. Or you're not contributing to trying to resolve issues here. You just might believe that you are correct, because it talks here about working on yourself and leading by example. You might not be doing that either. So you need to start making a contribution, work on yourself, work on your finances with your partner, whatever the case may be. This card also talks about being extremely assertive and insisting on telling your side of the story. You're very insistent on making that moment count to tell your story, and you will share this with literally anyone that will listen. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm starting to see that headstrong Leo here. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you're going about it inappropriately here, Leo. A rude awakening is coming as far as, this stuff here. Again, I feel like either you're not working or you're not working a lot. And you need to start contributing. You need to start contributing as far as working on yourself, because this other person, you're trying to tell them how to be, but you're not changing anything about you type of thing going on here. And that's unfortunate. I'm not sure who I'm talking to, but let's try to take more responsibility for ourselves here, Leo. So with this, being assertive and insisting, are you talking to other people about this drama with your partner or some other drama, and just kind of constantly being insistent on talking about it, and you have to share your side with everybody? Because quite frankly, the more you talk about it, the more you are insistent, like you gotta be the person to just tell your side of the story. Pretty soon people aren't gonna want to listen to that. Okay, first off. Secondly, you can sit at a table with somebody, and I think I said this in one of my previous readings not that long ago. You can sit at a table with somebody and you can have a totally different experience than the person that's sitting at the table with you. You could have a good, happy, exciting experience, and they could be miserable. Okay, so nothing is all black and white. There's a ton of gray, a little bit of white, a little bit of black, and a ton of gray when it comes to discussing a situation. So if you're over here constantly talking about whatever your problems with this partner or in this situation here, or constantly trying to tell your side, people are not going to listen as well if you keep being insistent about talking about it, okay? Usually people find the people that have to talk about it all the time, on a consistent basis, are kind of trying to bury their own shortcomings, right? So I'm not saying don't talk about it, but I'm saying, like, stop being so insistent. If people don't want to hear what you have to say, don't pressure them to listen to your side of whatever the situation is, because you're going to attract more flies with honey than with vinegar, okay? So if you've constantly got to talk about a bad situation here, you're just making people not want to listen, okay, Leo? Okay. Moving on to your next card, that talks about choosing which way to go, a moment of decision, uncertain of what is best for you or what to do next, feeling like each door is closed and wanting to reach the next stage of your life but not seeing a single way through. Yeah, and I kind of feel that here for you, Leo. Like, you want out of whatever this is, and you're just so discontent, and probably if you're getting pressures to contribute and stuff and you don't want to do that, you probably feel like you need to get out of that situation so you can live your life how you want to live your life. Just remember here, Leo, that no matter what person you connect with in life, there's always got to be some give and take, okay? And with you being uncertain which way to go, and the fact that there's some clarifiers here, you might not have the job or the financial income to have a stable living situation outside of your situation, and that might be what's making you uncertain. You also might have bonds or ties that make you want to kind of stick around, whether it be children or the finances or maybe friends or family or housing. I don't know what your situation is, but there's some level of uncertainty as to what to do next, but you feel like every single door is closed. And I get that. Been in your shoes where I felt every door was closed, but the truth of the matter is all it takes is turning a knob to open a door, or pushing on a door, pulling on a door, whatever kind of door you want to talk about here. But all it takes is you opening it, right? You gotta make the first move and open that door, okay? Doesn't matter if they're shut right now. You can always open them, right? So, moving on. This last one here is wanting to get through the other side of the situation that you're currently in, or a situation that has been troubling you. A desire, you want to get through a life transition here, a desire for getting through a life transition. You want to get through a gateway of some sort? Wanting to be an insider instead of remaining just on the outside. Wanting to have an impact and be included and be part of activities. Oh, okay. So you might have been limited from activities here. Like maybe because of this attitude here and this situation that you're in. Like your attitude might be playing a part in this, with with this card here and with this card here. And you're harsh on people that make mistakes, and you think that you're correct, and you know, you have an extreme bias and stuff. Maybe you've been excluded from activities because of that attitude. And so now you're like, why can't I be in these activities? Why can't I be around? Why, you know? And that's unfortunate, Leo. We all get ourselves into situations like that once in a while, where we may be our own worst enemy in a situation, and it kind of seems like you are here. So you've been excluded, and you're frustrated with that fact, and you want to be included and stuff, but that requires the self-work. You know, that requires looking at yourself instead of other people, working on yourself before you dole out advice. And you might be excluded because you're not doing that. Okay, here, Leo. Try to take a look at you. Okay. Now, here, the next one, moving on, is Two of Wands, also in reverse. This is just a sad reading kind of overall, unfortunately. Your first clarifier on that was, I wonder what will happen next. Ready to adventure, precipice of change, pause before action. Okay? And I'm going to go into the Two of Wands first, and then I'll go to the clarifiers. Next one is growing up. And that says wanting to grow and experience rejection of perpetual youth. And then your last one is messages for a rabbit, service to the animal world. Okay, so let's start up here with the Two of Wands in reverse. That talks about the need to set up long-term goals. Here, you need to plan how to achieve them, because lack of proper planning will be your downfall. Overconfidence and lack of patience is bringing disarray. Yeah, I see that here. You're kind of overconfident. You kind of think that you're right. You're doling out advice without working on yourself. And you're probably, from the looks of this, you probably are making mistakes. You probably are doing some wrongs here, and you're just not taking a look at that. And that probably led to your exclusion on a couple of things here. So with that overconfidence and lack of patience bringing in disarray, that's completely here. This talks about failed romantic plans. Yep, okay. That's very... So this is a romantic partnership that's going to fail, okay? It talks about lack of long-term prospects or ideas for the future, too. So you might be out searching I'm not saying this for every Leo, okay? Because I don't know who I'm connecting with. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest for somebody else. That's important with tarot readings. But you might be out there looking for different prospects, somebody else to join up with, since you don't have a job or you don't have enough income here because there's financial disarray, okay? And overspending. So you might not have the funds to go out on your own or to do whatever it is you need to do. And so you're trying to find a prospect, a different romantic prospect or a different housing prospect, maybe a different vehicle prospect of some kind. But there's a lack of long-term prospects for the future along with this failed romantic plan. You're not acting on a career. Yep, that was here too. You're not acting on a career somehow. You have a lack of control regarding finances, general chaos in bank accounts, overspending, and financial instability. That's all what this card talks about. And that was immediately right here too. So it's a very clear, concise message that I'm getting here that, you're upset with your situation and your romantic relationship here, and you are not taking accountability for your share of the problems. Probably in this romance situation, could be other situations in life, but whatever the case may be, you're not taking accountability here, and then you're doling out advice without working on yourself, and then so for your behaviors you've been excluded. And here now there's no future prospects for romance for you at the moment, and your overconfidence in this situation and thinking that you're right is actually causing that disarray, and your lack of patience is causing that disarray. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, Leo. I'm sorry to hear it. But it kind of looks like you brought it on yourself. So you're going to have to work on it yourself here. You're going to have to do a lot of work on you. And, covering up your own mistakes here, that's bad. That's real bad. Yeah. And somebody else having to hide because they fear punishment from you, or they fear some sort of retaliation, or whatever the case may be, that's bad too. This is very unhealthy here. And, this card stated you probably didn't get to know this person the way you should have before you jumped in. And so you got to take accountability for that too. You can't be blaming the other person for all this stuff, Leo. It's right here. I can't make this shit up. It comes out in the cards. This person that you're dissatisfied with, you didn't take the time to get to know them. They didn't take the time to get to know you. Ooh, and then you jump into something romantic, and whatever the case may be here, and now you're just completely and utterly dissatisfied, and I can tell the other person is too, and you two just need to not be together, period. There's so much here, and a lot of this has to do with your own self-work, Leo. You're not taking accountability for your hand in this at all, okay? And stop trying to change your partner here, because it's not, I'm not getting a big read on abusive stuff or emotionally abusive stuff or any kind of cheating. I'm not getting that here so far, except for this one where you might be looking, okay? But they're not, I don't see anything really terrible that they're doing here. Granted, I don't know your life, but they're not doing anything that bad. But they're sure paying the price like they are. No good. Okay. Let's move on to your first clarifier here. This one talks about a longing for excitement, wondering what will take place next. Yep, that's been here already. Someone who is comfortable but still dissatisfied, and you're ready for new experiences. So you might just be ready to be done with it all here. And that's why you're looking. You're trying to have a new prospect before you leave your old prospect. Okay? That's unfortunate too. This second clarifier here is understanding that years will bring their lessons to you. You need to grow up a little bit and enjoy becoming an elder. You need to make sure that your watching time make its mark on you so that you are growing. You have to evolve and grow and become more adult-like here. You're a little bit youthful, and you have a little growing to do. You need to understand that wisdom comes with age. Yep, it says here too, as part of this description of the card, being young at heart or mentally, and needing to embrace encounters that help you grow and evolve. Yeah. So here was your opportunity to grow, kind of evolve, kind of learn how to be in a partnership, because nothing is ever 50-50 in a relationship. You all need to be putting in 100. I know that sounds weird, but relationships are never 50-50. And my husband and I, the way we handle that is, if he comes home and he's just exhausted and he can't do anything that night and, whatever, it's I got you, babe. I'm going to do the cooking. I'm going to do the, clearing the table. We're going to just let you chill tonight because he comes home and he's got nothing to give, And then there are days where he'll come home from work and I'm, down and out on the couch with a migraine. I've got all the lights off. I've got the curtains pulled. I've got no noise going. Maybe even shut off the air conditioner because that noise bothers me, right? And he's like, I got you, babe. I'm going to cook despite the fact that I just worked 10 hours. and that kind of thing. And so a relationship is never ever 50-50. On the rare occasion that it can be, you guys are probably at your best, but seems like there's not a lot of give and take here. And I feel like with all of this, your partner's trying to be there for you, trying to give to you, trying to do their best, but they also need their own autonomy. They need their own space to do what they need to do, and so do you. But you're trying to get them to change, and that's not okay. You should have gotten to know them a little better if that's what you really wanted. If you really wanted somebody else, with different attributes or different ways of doing things, you should have taken your time then here, because that talks about rushing. This one talks about rushing. So, yeah, and just putting that out there. Everybody has to get to their own place of when they're in a relationship. Everybody has to get to their own place and their own understanding of what that relationship is going to look like. And thankfully for my husband and I, we did premarital counseling, okay? And that helped us out a lot. We went through a whole workbook and discussed everything from A to Z on every kind of situation that we could possibly think of and how we would want to handle that, and any kind of disagreements. We had to go over that and work through that prior to being able to get married, and it was a lifesaver for us. There wasn't a whole lot we disagreed on, but there was a few, and a couple of them were big. So we did that before we got married. We took that time, and we didn't even line up a wedding date until we had that premarital counseling done, okay? So you probably should have taken some time to get to know each other better here, and you can't change them. You just can't. So with this, you need to do a little bit of growing up here. You need to take accountability for yourself. You need to realize it's not all your partner's fault. You need to realize it's not all everybody else's fault, because you're doling out advice without working on yourself here, okay, Leo? So you need to do a little bit of growing up. And then this clarifier talks about enjoying the comforts of animals right now. You're feeling drawn to animals more than humans right now as well. This message is for a rabbit, and that's probably because of this exclusion. You're probably just at home hanging out with your pets, okay? This Ten of Cups is an excellent card, but in reverse, not so much. And you got it in reverse, okay? So let's go in and talk about that. The Ten of Cups in reverse talks about family and community bonds that are broken and twisted, distance and pulling apart. There might be some meddling relatives or a short fling. Comes right after this one with you looking for prospects. You might be out doing a little bit of mental, emotional, or physical cheating here, possibly, Leo. Mental and emotional is just as bad, if not worse, than physical. Physical is all about procreation and meeting sexual desires. And so, in the long run, most women get upset about a man physically cheating, but I personally would be more upset with a man emotionally cheating, relying on somebody else for their discussions, talking about the hardness of life or whatever. That emotional cheating is how a bond of love builds. So, whereas the physical can just end up being physical, and nothing more to it. And I'm not saying cheating in any way is correct. It's a big fat no from me on all forms of cheating, but mental and emotional cheating is like way worse than physical. So if you're out here physical cheating or mental or emotional cheating, you're just automatically in the wrong here, Leo. Even if you're looking for other prospects, you're in the wrong. Okay, just saying that. Yeah, so this might be a short-term fling, or there might be meddling relatives or friends, external forces affecting the relationship, definitely financial instability. we've got financial instability, financial instability, financial instability, and I believe this one talked about that just a little bit as well. So there's a lot of financial instability. But that financial instability might be leading to arguments with family or friends over finances. There's domestic disharmony due to finances as well. They're spending too much time arguing over how much is yours versus theirs. Oh, okay. Clashes between family and love, external matters creating chaos, and people believe you are not meant to be together anymore. Yeah, I see that here. And to be honest, from this reading, I think you guys aren't meant to be together either. Unfortunately, I'm not going to advocate for any kind of breakups because I don't want to see happy homes go to shit. But this isn't a happy home here. This isn't. I don't know if there's kids involved because I can't see any kind of kids surrounding this situation, so it might be an easy break for you guys. But if there are kids involved, obviously that's going to complicate things a little bit. But this isn't, yeah, this needs to be let go of. So the situation here where it's you're trying to talk about what's yours versus what's theirs. With these cards here and the fact that somebody might not be working or somebody might only be working part-time, if you're the person, Leo, with the higher income, you need to realize that in a situation where I don't care, man or woman, whoever stays home, if they're keeping up the house, they're doing the dishes, they're, paying the bills, making the appointments, whatever, they are contributing, okay? But if it's the other way around, Leo, and you're the person at home and you're not doing those things or not doing them on a regular basis, and you're trying to say that what the person has versus what you have, they can't have access to what you have, but you need access to what they have, that's inappropriate behavior in marriage, of finances. You each need your little bit of fun money to do with what you will. For example, my husband, he uses his fun money on video games. I use my fun money on usually other people, but I use my fun money on like clothing. I love a certain brand of clothing, and so when they come out with new releases, if I have a little bit of fun money left over after all the bills are paid, that's kind of what I spend my money on. And he chooses how to spend his fun money, I choose how to spend my fun money, all right? But the bills and the majority of the finances, that's all together. We don't differentiate whose is whose and what is what, because that can lead to a lot of financial arguments in the marriage. So whatever I bring into the house financially, that's ours. Whatever he brings into the house financially, that's ours. And then we just take a little bit out of what we've brought in ourselves and set it off to the side, for something fun. And it doesn't matter whether it's a date for the both of us or something simple for us as an individual. That's what we set it aside for, okay? So there's no yours versus mine. It's ours. And if you truly feel that way, Leo, I don't care whether you're the breadwinner or the person staying at home, that flawed logic is probably part of this problem. Okay? So, and the clashes between family and love, and people believing that you are not meant to be together anymore, yeah, there's family bonds and community bonds that are twisted and broken, and this is just mess. It is a mess, and I'm not gonna hope for anybody's relationship to end here, but I'm saying that this probably does need to, okay? And, if people are seeing that you guys are fighting so much and so miserable that they think you shouldn't be together anymore, well, they're probably right here, Leo, unfortunately, Okay, so your clarifiers on this was do not drink the poison, do not do things you know that are bad for you. Okay. And then your next one in reverse is who in the world are you, getting to know the new you, but it is in reverse. Okay, so that has a different meaning than upright. Your next one is also in reverse, and that's nature, communication, flower energy, fairy energies, and elemental messengers. But again, it's in reverse. So we'll get into the meaning of that. And then again, your next one in reverse, your very last one on these rows is investigate. Look closely, ask questions, think before acting, and it's in reverse. Okay, so we'll get into the meaning of those 4 cards. 4 popped for that last one, not sure why, but I guess it needed a little more clarification, okay? So this first one talks about avoiding toxic people in situations or relationships, and this is toxic. I can see that, so I understand why you're thinking about getting out or making moves to get out. Don't partake in what's bad for you either. Change your toxic habits. You got to change your unhealthy mental state and beliefs and stop speaking ill of others. Choose to encourage and support. That's what that card is all about. So yeah, you're probably talking shitty. You probably have a bad mental health state or something like that, and bad beliefs. You're speaking ill of others here, and that's bad for you. Partaking in talking ill of others, that is really bad for you. And it says, to avoid toxic people, situations, or relationships. And this relationship I can see is toxic, but it's mostly made toxic by you, unfortunately, and I can see that. And then, changing the habit of speaking ill of people and changing your unhealthy mental state should help. And then you can choose to encourage and support people, from there. But you got to change you here, Leo. This isn't about anybody else. This is about you. Okay? So yeah, you're probably talking shitty, and you're the toxic person in this, at least partially, and I can see that. Moving on to the next one, that talks about believing you know just who you are, certain of identity, and refusing to question yourself. Yep, that was here too. You're not taking a look at yourself. Believing you are fixed or unchanging, going along with the main current of who you are supposed to be, feeling comfortable or confident in who you believe you are, but limiting your potential because you refuse to grow. Yeah, you're refusing to grow here. You're refusing to take accountability in any of this. That's a poor me, why me, kind of mentality, victim mentality, and that's unfortunate. But you know what? You got to work on you to grow, okay, Leo? And like I said, I don't know if I'm connecting with a man or a woman. Who I'm connecting with, I have no idea. I'm reading completely and utterly blind. But I can tell that you're the toxic person in this, and you need to work on you. And all of this discontentment, even if you leave this situation, and you probably should, but even if you leave this situation, that discontentment is going to follow you because you don't work on yourself. So, and that's just being real and blunt here. Okay, moving on. This one talks about stubbornness, refusing to approach language from a different perspective, assuming signs and communications must fit your own, assuming things about others without tuning into them and actually listening, and refusing to expand your capacity for understanding. Yeah, so you're not listening to others. You're not even trying to understand others here, Leo. You're just, what I know is best, and what I know is right, and that's that. That's it. You're not listening. You're not communicating properly. You're being stubborn. You're refusing to look at something from other people's perspective, whether it be this partner or other people in your life. You just, it's you. Like this whole toxicity is you here, Leo, and you gotta work on yourself. The work on yourself is here quite a bit, and the fact that you're not listening and you're feeding into rumors and you're feeding into this, and I mean, there's so much nasty here. No wonder this isn't working out for you. The Ten of Cups here, if that would have came out upright, you know, I would see that this relationship is going to last a long period of time. But it's because of all this stuff down here that you're doing. It's just not going to. Okay, it's just not going to. It may work out for a while longer, but it's not going to last forever, because you just refuse to take a look at yourself in any capacity here. You just want the good stuff without having to do any of the work. That's too bad. So, yeah, you need to work on your capacity for understanding, and you need to actually listen to people instead of talking. I see a lot of that here where you're just kind of like, I'm right, or, you're not really even trying to listen to the other person's perspective throughout this whole thing, especially this partner. And that nothing's going to change if you don't change that. So this is all about you needing to do the work, but I see this coming to a bad ending either way. Okay? Ten of Cups in reverse is never good. It's good in the upright. In fact, you want to see that in a love reading, in the upright. But this wasn't ever meant to be a love reading, but it turned out to be like a very disappointing relationship. And all this work that needs to be done, it's surrounding you here, okay? And you, like I said, you might be connecting with a Scorpio, maybe, because this came out in Scorpios too, kind of in the same position as well. So covering up your errors and stuff, you're going to have to start owning that shit if you want to save this. If you don't, well then, whatever, keep doing you, but that discontentment is going to follow you. Okay, your last card here is the Investigate in reverse. And that talks about rushing ahead without checking. Yeah, I felt that before. Like maybe you guys didn't get to know each other. And so with some of these finances too, you're rushing ahead to spend money without checking. You're being reckless and even arrogantly thinking you know best. Yep, that's showing up all the way through this thing. Refusing to learn from experience. Yep, that's all through this. That sums everything up that I just said in such a more concise manner. I like it. And you're not using your wits or intelligence at all when it comes to this stuff. You're just kind of doing what you want to do and expecting people to be okay with it, and, expecting people to not call you on your stuff here, Leo. But yeah, because of you and because of the way you behave and because of all of your actions throughout this whole thing, you're facing a loss of a relationship. I don't care if it's friendship, but the cards clarified it's romantic, so you're going to lose your partner because of how you are. And you're not willing to look at yourself, and you're putting all the blame on other people, and you're putting the blame on them, and you're covering up your errors. It's just a mess, Leo. I don't know who I'm talking to. Again, take what fits, leave the rest for somebody else. But yeah, this isn't. Yeah, and you're being excluded because of how you're acting, and you still won't take a look at yourself. So that's unfortunate. Anyways, for your. We'll get into this here. First off, I did some karma cards, and I haven't used these before in a video reading, but you got, how it works is if Leo is your sun, moon, sun placement, then this is your card, and the way it flips out is how we read. So you got these three, and it just gives you a karmic lesson. Okay, so it's these three, and paired together, they read demonstrate leadership and responsibility. Yeah. Sorry, I read that wrong. Demonstrate leadership responsibly. Demonstrate leadership responsibly. Yeah, you can't demonstrate proper leadership if you are not taking a look at yourself. You can't be a leader if you're not looking at yourself, if you're not dealing with your own stuff, if you're not taking accountability for yourself here and placing the blame and, you know, covering up your errors and stuff like that. You aren't a leader. You aren't a leader right now. You need to demonstrate that leadership responsibly. And instead, you know, you're putting it all on everybody else and, you know, oh boy. Leos and Aries, man. When I read for Leos and Aries, I get drained so hard because, I mean, I have two Leos in my life that I absolutely 100% love to death. Ex-coworker Sarah. She's the sunshine in a dark day. At least she was when we were coworkers, and a beautiful soul. And then my mother, who my brother-in-law describes as an angel. You know, people think the world of her, but that, you know, those are two Leos who have done the self-work. And they really dig deep into themselves. Leos and Aries, man, they don't tend to dig in themselves, not the majority, and they just drain me when I do their readings. Okay, so your first clarifier for this final set, this is kind of the outcome clarifier. You got the Dancer, and it says, you must feel free to express yourself if you want to live a truly authentic life of quality and meaning. Our soul's dance is unending. Yeah. So you have to live authentically here, Leo, and you're not doing that. You're not taking accountability for yourself, and you're kind of putting it on this poor partner of yours and causing chaos and upheaval and getting yourself, you know, excluded and all these weird things. So, yeah, you're not living authentically at all. Okay? Yeah, you have to live authentically for the quality of life and meaning in life, okay? Your next card out is the Ruler. And that says, sometimes you must create and defend boundaries to protect yourself from invasive or other inappropriate behavior of others. And I feel like maybe you're getting some boundaries put on you because of your inappropriate behavior, okay, Leo? This next one is the Resolute. And that says, if you do not resolve to be patient and endure through tough times, success may appear to you to be always in the future or in another's power. Yeah. You need to be more patient with other people. Then your next card here is the Witch. And that one says, be aware of your reputation, your influence, and your power to create, preserve, or destroy. Powerful women are often misunderstood. Right now, your reputation and your influence is probably going down the drain here, because you won't take a look at what you're destroying yourself, okay? And then you got the Drama Queen. And that says, some people need a high level of attention to validate their sense of worth. Make sure that you are not that person staging needless plays. Yeah, I see that here. That kind of dramatic, like, you know, this, I'm unsatisfied, I'm unhappy, I'm this, but it turns out with the clarifiers that it's all because of your own actions here. So, yeah, definitely some drama stuff, and you need to make sure that you stop doing that. It says right here to make sure that you are not that person staging needless plays. And some people need a high level of attention to validate their self-worth. You might feel that you need all the attention in the room, but you don't. And that's probably what you're doing here. You know, probably part of it. So, Oh, Leo. All right. Well, this was your reading, and I hope you find it helpful. If not, that's okay. Um, most people don't like to be told that they're obviously in the wrong in a situation, but you are, and you're putting your partner through hell, and you're putting other people through hell, and you're causing financial disarray and all of this stuff. So, and you're not taking a look at yourself. You know, you're doling out advice, and you won't even take a look at yourself, and hiding the errors. It's a big mess. Whatever Leo I'm connecting with, I hope you get the help that you need. I'll pray for you to get the help that you need, so you, as well as the people around you, aren't in such misery with their contact with you, okay? Sorry to be blunt, but that's just the way it is, and that's what came out in the cards. So this was your reading. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Take a look at some self-work, okay?